Tzu Chi volunteers have made preemptive measures in the Monte Liaison Office against the forest fires. In Ladybrand, Lesotho, Tzu Chi volunteers distribute 40 metric tons of rice to 612 families. Selamat datang ke DaAi Headlines, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. In California, while fires have been raging since September 7th, volunteers have made preparations in Tzu Chi Monte Liaison Office so that when there's the need of evacuation, all Tzu Chi brothers and sisters can take shelter at the office.
Raging fires and black smoke are seen in the mountains. This is the Bobcat fire located at the west coast of the United States. The fire has been burning for a few days and has severely impacted its surroundings.
This time, the fire is located very near to our community. The local government and the Los Angeles County government has also issued warnings that the residents might need to evacuate any time.
Tzu Chi Monte Liaison Office is located right at the foothill of the fire. To prepare for the possible evacuation, volunteers set up the Jinsu folding bed inside the office.
We are preparing for all the possibilities. We have prepared the Jinsu folding beds and blankets here in the office. If there's a need for evacuation, Tzu Chi brothers and sisters can take shelter here at the liaison office.
Due to the pandemic, not many people can gather in indoor space. However, everybody put in their best effort to get the preparation work in the liaison office done in the blink of an eye.
Hopefully with this little thing here that everyone's been working for, that their lives are made a little bit easier, a little bit better, and hopefully I hope I've had some sort of positive impact on those who have been affected.
Due to the forest fire and also the pandemic, the lives of many people have been disrupted. However, because of this, many kind thoughts are gathered, hoping that everyone can pass through this challenging time.
In Orange County, Southern California, volunteers have been planning to find a distribution site to distribute supplies to the poor families during the pandemic. Finally, in August, Tzu Chi cooperated with a local church for the first distribution.
Since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, Tzu Chi organizers here in Southern California's Orange County have been searching for a location to hold drive-in food distributions so that they may serve community members in need. Their wish finally came true in August, holding their first event at the Mormon Church in Santa Ana.
Back to the beginning of the pandemic, our master urged us to serve. Try to go to the people who need it. Because this is Santa Ana, and then people really need help. And most of them, most of them, they don't have a job. We try to locate where we can do the food distribution.
The connection we had with the Tzu Chi organization was a meeting that was held with the church. We were invited to help the community to distribute food to families in need.
Even though our food was delivered the day before, they sent someone to help us keep watch at night. Although it's the first time we have cooperating, I feel at ease.
Families in the Hispanic community have suffered the most from the epidemic. I haven't worked since March 8th. Without a job, our whole family can only stay at home all the time. There are 9 of us in the family, 4 grandchildren, my wife and 3 children. I haven't worked in 5 months and I need food for my family.
Right now, at this time with COVID, it's really important and crucial for us to partner up and collaborate so that we can bring these resources to the community, especially here in Santa Ana, where we have a really high rate of COVID.
When we work in our own backyard, we're able to pool our resources, focus our energy, and give back to the communities that we know best.
In Taidong's Taimali, the Shuguang Environmental Education Recycling Station was established in 2008. In the past 12 years, it has experienced 2 serious natural disasters. However, this did not extinguish the local bodhisattva's enthusiasm. Here's more.
In Taidong Taimali, volunteers are already busy at 5 o'clock in the morning. This is the Shuguang Environmental Education Recycling Station. It was officially opened on January 20, 2008.
We used to do recycling in front of my house. Now the recycling station moves here, and I'm very grateful to the master for giving us elderly these opportunities. No one wants to hire us to work. I have nothing to do at home. It is great to come here to do recycling.
Even when encountering typhoons, volunteers never stop working to save the planet. Zhang Fenglan, the first recycling volunteer in Taimali, went through the streets and alleys to do recycling, recruiting many local volunteers.
I used to come out every day and saw trash strewn all over the place, which made me feel distressed. We have to do it quickly, otherwise our next generation will live in a garbage dump.
The average age of the volunteers at Shuguang Recycling Station is 80 years old. The oldest, Zheng Jingzhi, is 88 years old, and she moves very quickly. Whenever volunteer Lin Jinghua is present, there is always laughter. After helping build the station, she has never been absent for the recycling work.
This one bottle will save a lot of people, and one bottle will save the whole world. Not tired, but happy.
With the Shuguang Recycling Station in Taimali, volunteers no longer need to spend more than an hour traveling to Taidong.
We have about a dozen volunteers here who came around 5 o'clock and left before they were done. At the station, we have a reading class every Friday and a learning class on Sunday.
For more than 10 years, volunteers have been happy to do recycling and set a good example, hoping to recruit more youth to take over and continue their environmental mission to protect the earth.
Take a look at 2 volunteers who uphold the ideals of zero waste and combine their creativity. They are able to turn unwanted waste materials into lanterns and cup holders. The recyclable-made lanterns add a little beauty to the study group session, and the woven cup holder is simple yet nice. Warping shows lifestyle artistic works starts from searching treasures at the recycling station.
This is very nice. I'll keep all of it. This is nice too. I'll take it back and try. I'm hoping to make over 100 lanterns, so I need to find more materials.
With her bags fully loaded, she heads back home. Besides waste papers, there are also PET bottles, as she starts to do magic with her skillful hands.
Some people think that this is already okay, but the real challenge is to make the curves of the lantern.
Different papers have different densities. She diligently used the oil painting scraper to adjust the curves on the lanterns.
You must calm your heart. I'm afraid the paper might tear apart, so when I'm doing this, both my hands and eyes have to be very focused.
Textbooks, magazines, red envelopes, any waste papers can be recycled and turned into the special recyclable-made lanterns.
This lantern is made of paper container. I open it up and turn it into the recyclable-made lantern. Linking our hearts and passing on the Dharma light, I'm hoping that this little creation can invite more people to participate in our book reading session.
Next, we take a look at this artistic woven cup holder. Can you guess what it is made of?
Previously, when I ate zhongzi, I would cut off the string. Later, I realized that the strings could be made into cup holders. I encourage others to untie the zhongzi when opening it. The usual length of the string is enough for me to make one cup holder. After washing the string, it will not be greasy and feels just like new, and it is much more easy to wove it.
It is amazing that all these beautiful materials can be found by picking up at the recycling station. These ideas came from the zero waste concept, making life a little more interesting. At the day of recycling, volunteers based in Kuala Lumpur gathered at the recycling station in Sri Petaling as they pour in their effort to categorize waste. The materials are sold for charity and the funds will be sent to people in need.
If we sell that iron, we can sell it for money.
Every day in Tzu Chi's Sri Petaling recycling station, volunteers work full force on categorizing materials. They work especially hard on behalf of our environment.
I am happy to do dismantling. It feels like a sense of victory once I find treasure.
What Chong Hui-yen is focusing on is this water heater. She is separating the sellable plastics and metals into their correct places.
In our recycling station, there are some old bodhisattvas who are very attentive and hardworking. When they see electronics, they dismantle every detail out of it just for better selling prices, hoping that the funds may help the poor.
Although the process of dismantling is time-consuming and exhausting, volunteers are happily doing so. Yo Su-gong once applied for the Neighborhood Relief Program, where she get to know Tzu Chi volunteers and start to do recycling.
Once the movement control order is uplifted, and since she doesn't have work, we encourage her to come here to the recycling station.
I learned a lot from recycling and dismantling electronics. There are many details like screws or tiny screws. If it's metal or plastic, we can categorize it. These small things aggregate good merits.
Volunteers also help people in need, turning waste to useful resources. The heart of cherishing items and loving others has helped more, bringing them along the path of safeguarding our environment.
In Ladybrand, a small town at the border of Lesotho, Tzu Chi volunteers distributed 40 metric tons of rice from Taiwan to 612 families. As the city was still under lockdown, government officials and local people were mobilized to help.
Two 20-feet container trucks filled with the rice of love from Taiwan arrived in Ladybrand town. Government officials and volunteers were busy unloading 4,000 packs of rice, weighing 10 kilograms each, which will be distributed to the impoverished families in surrounding communities.
I wish to thank the Tzu Chi Foundation, especially Master Chen Yang. The rice came at the right time. I don't know what to say anymore. I thank you so much, Master Chen, for all your trouble. Thank you a lot.
Volunteers strictly follow the government's epidemic prevention policy. Therefore, the relief distribution was conducted outdoors. 612 families were divided into 6 batches to receive the supplies they needed.
Since the city was shut down during the epidemic, my family has been lack of food and my children couldn't get enough to eat. Today I got this bag of rice from Taiwan. It has brought vitality to my family. I'm sincerely grateful to you.
Owing to the impact of the epidemic, the relief distribution this time has lasted for half a month. Local volunteers and government staff have also helped with the distribution, alleviating the problem of manpower shortage.
It helped a lot of people in Mansupa municipality as a whole.
Thank you, Tzu Chi. Thank you, Taiwan. Thank you, Master.
After the successful completion of the rice distribution, many people in the community who had participated in the distribution also wanted to go further and join Tzu Chi. Hence, volunteers specially hosted small-scale cultivation for them, hoping to gather more new local volunteers to expand the network of love.
In Zimbabwe, there are 4 orphans who can only rely on each other and live on others' relief. A Tzu Chi volunteer, Esther, regularly visited and delivered supplies to them. The children once asked her if she could be their mother. Since then, they have a family again.
There was nothing in the house but bare walls with an open-air toilet. After the father was imprisoned, the mother left the family and the 4 children became orphans.
I don't have money to buy soap and food for my 3 sisters. It is too hard for me.
The 4 children relied on each other and lived on others' relief. Until this day, they have a turning point in their lives.
Once, when I visited and cared for them, they asked me if I could be their mother. There was another time that a youngest child told me she thought that their mother is gone, as if she had passed away. This made me very sad, so I told them that from now on, I am your mother.
Feeling the belated maternal love and the warmth of a family, they do not only have a mother, but also a father.
Soon after these children entered the house, they enthusiastically called my wife mother. My wife asked me if we could adopt them. I immediately said it's fine and we could take care of them.
Life is simple but beautiful. They followed their foster mother to plant in a vegetable garden and adopted a vegetarian diet. They also became little volunteers to help the people in need.
I'm very happy now because I can play with many others. I also learned from Jing's aphorisms today to be a good child and be filial to my parents.
Esther's natural daughter is full of joy to accept the adopted siblings. Surrounded by kindness and love, these adopted children learn to let go of the past.
In Sri Lanka, the Rohan Lanka Vocational Training Institute, which received Tzu Chi's help, has had a turn of hands and provided free wheelchair repairs for the residents in Victoria Home, a long-term care institution supported by Tzu Chi.
Tzu Chi's love has been here for 10 years, and now that is helping residents to repair wheelchairs. I am also happy to do this.
This wheelchair, which has fallen into disrepair for years, is now in the hands of a restorer who will give it a second life. This group of restorers come from the Rohan Lanka Vocational Training Institute specially set up for the disabled. In June of this year, when the COVID-19 pandemic was intense, Tzu Chi assisted in disinfecting the Vocational Training Center free of charge. Now, as soon as they heard that the Victoria Home, which Tzu Chi has cared for a long time, urgently needed wheelchair repair, volunteers took immediate action.
For our residents, wheelchairs are like their feet. Tzu Chi's help and assistance from this group of maintenance volunteers is like giving our residents a pair of healthy feet.
Carefully repairing the wheels, axles, and other parts one by one is an act of love that is truly moving.
According to data, 30 to 40% of waste entering incinerators in Taiwan is food waste. If this food waste can be separated, the load on 10 incinerators will be reduced. They can also be turned into useful fuel to generate electricity. Follow a report as we learn more.
From this aerial shoot, the landfill site is like a growing tumor that is spreading as the rubbish is piled high like a mountain emitting a strong stench. Nantou, a county without an incinerator, has seen garbage becoming a lingering nightmare.
Now it's just a matter of how much we can reduce. So no matter if we can extract 5 or 10% from it, we're happy to reduce this amount.
Garbage trucks come in and dump household garbage. After this mechanical sorting, it is packed into these fuel packages weighing between 0.8 to 1 metric tons.
The equipment is called empty mechanical treatment, which includes bag breaking, screening, sorting, and magnetic separation for unsuitable garbage to be sorted out.
This is what has been separated out. There's kitchen waste, and the heavy part is sand and soil, which is not good for incineration. After entering the incineration plant, it will mostly become residue.
Organic matter has a high moisture content, and when left in the landfill can dispose naturally.
We can use biological organisms in this organic mat and turn it over for a sort of natural treatment.
Empty must be promoted for counties without incinerators, and for counties with incinerators, mechanical sorting is a function that can make garbage as homogeneous as possible.
We are probably able to subtract some 70 to 80% of the waste through sorting.
When waste is sorted and homogenized, the amount of thermal energy increases and this becomes semi-processed fuel, though none of the 24 incinerators in operation in Taiwan can use it.
At present, our laws and regulations are still discussing this. Maybe in the near future, not only incinerator but also boilers could use this as it must go somewhere.
For the moment, it can only be started in a neat and tidy piles, though the problem still exists. Yunlin County, which suffers from garbage buildup, is experimenting with RDF, that is, refuse-divided fuel. The front end is mechanically sorted, and the back end is coupled with drying and granulation process to reduce the volume and turn it into a RDF filled rod.
The main thing in Yunlin is domestic waste. We have to separate the high thermal waste and mix with for use at the Formosa plastic coal-fired power plant.
We don't have an incinerator, but we have the thermal mass that can be used as an alternative fuel.
So who will incinerate and use it as fuel? This question needs to be considered, otherwise you will get a lot of fuel rods stored in the warehouse, which is just like putting garbage in the warehouse.
Once these fuel rods are produced, if they have no place to be sent to, it will still be rubbish.
It's really an appeal to the people to do really thorough classification.
Starting from the source, we need to do waste reduction.
You can reduce your dependence on incinerators so they don't have to work so hard.
What makes up the domestic garbage burn in our incinerators? It is nearly 40% of waste. However, processing food waste is not difficult.
Xie Helin has been concerned about environmental issues for a long time. He raises black soldier fires to decompose his own kitchen waste.
Take a look at both of these. This is what I did myself. In about 3 or 4 days, they can process 1 bucket of food waste.
In fact, gathering food waste is of great use. Taichung City has established the first biomass energy park in Taiwan.
If food waste is handled properly, it doesn't have to be burned as garbage. Since October 17 last year, the entire park has begun carrying out collection and transportation throughout the city.
Taichung City's road kitchen waste goes through a series of treatments, with the last being biogas power generation in mid-June this year. This has been connected to the electric grid as road kitchen waste has become a renewable energy source.
1 cubic meter of marsh gas with 60% methane concentration can produce 2.4 watts of electricity.
If all the food waste is recycled in 1 day, we can save 5,000 tons of garbage incinerated, which is equivalent to 10 incinerators.
After the flood waste is fermented, the gas is used to generate electricity, and the liquid and solid residue can also be reused as fertilizer.
The more detailed the garbage classification, the better the result. Like this pile was originally raw kitchen waste. After fermentation and decomposition, it can become organic fertilizer and finally return to the earth.
For the sake of environmental sustainability, we have struggled to seek ways to deal with garbage. If these are not as good as reducing the amount of garbage from the source, there are still other ways to reduce garbage, and the earth will have one less problem.
In Taitung, the county organized a beach cleaning activity with the local residents and 25 NGOs participating. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.